Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. My project today is kind of a blend of two different sets. I wanted to use the Songbirds, Sweet Songbirds stamp set and Builder Punch for Halloween, and I actually wanted to use the Witch Hat Builder Punch, but the hat was just overwhelming the little bird. So what I did was I cut the hat off of this witch and I just put it on the bird's head. I don't know if you can see. There you go. So I wanted to just blend some things so that you get the most out of your stamp set. You wouldn't think of this Sweet Songbirds really as a Halloween stamp set, but I wanted to use the little bird for that. Okay, this is my host code for September. If you're going to spend any less than $150, please put that in and I can join them together and send everybody something. What we need for this project is some basic white for stamping. We need a piece of the Black and White Designs DSP that is 7 by 7, and that's for the actual box. You could do the actual box in cardstock if you don't want to do it in DSP. It would be fine to do that too. We need a piece of the pumpkin pie. This is Gingham Cottage DSP that is 2 1/4 by 7 1/2. We need a stitched circle out of Gorgeous Grape, which is 2 1/8 inch. So if you have around a 2 inch, 2 1/4 inch punch, that's fine too. And we need a scrap of Daffodil Delight to do the sentiment. All right. I also used, obviously, the Stylish Shapes dies for the circle. All right, this belly band doesn't move. It's glued on there. I just needed something behind it, so that's what I did. Okay, inside here fits perfectly a Reese's Peanut Butter Pumpkin. I got these from Walmart. There's 6 in here, and they were $3 and change. Alrighty, but you could fit other candies in here easily. It measures 4 by 3 1/4 by 1. Now I left this flap about 1 inch, and that's no problem with the DSP. You might have a little bit of a problem if you do this in cardstock, and you might want to just, cut off and make this a 1/2 inch for the back flap here to poke it in. But I like it when it's DSP to be a little bit longer because it's nice and secure. Let me put that back in there. Okay. All right, so my Simply Scored is right here, and it doesn't matter which 7-inch side you start on unless you're going to put it in a pattern. And then the part that I score first, that's the part that you would want up and down. Okay, but these are pretty, well, it's not too good that way, I guess. So we're going to start with our piece of paper with our pattern going up and down. Okay, so we're going to score at 1, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/2. I'm going to turn it a 1/4 turn to the next 7-inch side, and we're going to score at 1, 5, and 6. And now I'm just going to fold and burnish all the score lines. Okay, so how I have this is your skinniest rectangle is on the right hand side, and then there's a 1-inch strip on the other 3 sides. All right, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to start on the bottom left, and we're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. Go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line and wedge each side of the square. And then we're going to go to the next score line, to the first score line, and then wedge up a little bit into the skinny rectangle there. Okay, so these are our tabs right there, and this is our rectangles that we left straight. All right, now I'm going to turn it to the other side, and we're going to start on the bottom left again. Okay, I made a little mistake because I'm forgetting I have two sections here. So I'm going to start over. This is the first one we did. Now we're on the bottom, the top, which is now at the bottom. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. So we're going to go to the first score line and cut it to the second score line, and then wedge up into the skinny rectangle. Okay, so now we have that much left on there. Okay, we're going, now there's two rectangles here. We're going to go to the second score line and cut it up to the second score line. And we're going to cut off these two rectangles here. Okay, so they would be joined if I had done it right the first time. Okay, so what we're going to do, we took off these, and now we're going to take off these two rectangles. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to the next score line and cut it to the second score line. We're going to take off the square at the bottom and then wedge a little bit out of each side of the square that we left. Okay, these two rectangles are going to be our top and our front, our flap to close it. So we're going to leave these alone. So we're going to go to the next score line and cut up to the second score line. We're going to get rid of the square that's on the bottom. And we're going to wedge each side of this square. Okay, and this is what your cardstock should look like. I'm going to lift up the tabs just a little bit so that you can see, because I know this paper is hard. All right, and the only other thing we want to do is to round the corners of this top flap here. So I will have a picture of this on my blog, since I kind of screwed it up on you. Didn't flow nicely, let's say. All right. Alrighty, now we're going to find our skinniest rectangle, which is over here, and I'm going to put tear and tape on it just next to the skinny to the score line, on the skinny rectangle next to the score line. I'm going to use my take your pick tool to get the backing off. I'm going to flip the whole thing over, flip the side with the tape, and flip the other side to meet it. And meanwhile, I didn't take a little grip out, but it'll fit in here. So you want to take a little piece out of the back so that you can grab this when you close it nice easily, so you don't have to struggle with your fingernail. Okay, so this is our back. I'm going to put the sides in and the back, and we're going to put more tear and tape right here. You could actually use Stampin' Seal on this because it is just DSP, it's not cardstock, so you wouldn't even need Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay, and then just make sure that everything's nice and even and push it down. And that is your basic box. All right, now I'm going to put my peanut butter pumpkin in, because it's easier to work with this box when it has something in it. Okay, there we go, and this is the front of our box. Okay, so now let's get our strip. Somebody asked me for this box for the measurements for the outside piece. I didn't measure it because it would be about a 1/16 off just because of the score lines. I just run it with my hands and make the marks so that I know it'll fit just right. All right, so what I want you to do is take this piece of the Gingham Cottage DSP that is 2 1/4 by 7 1/2. And I want you to place it right in the middle of the front, okay? And then mark where your first corner is, and then your second corner. Okay, and take it off and get your bone folder and make sure that the folds are straight and burnish them off. And I say to do only 2 at a time because they can, if they slip a little bit, then you're off by a lot on this side. All right, so then the next 2 sides. And then make sure they're straight also. So what I do is I put it down, I make sure this side and this side is even, and then burnish it. And I just hold it there until I burnish it to get it to stay. All right. And this it's kind of a belly band, but it's not going to come off. So make sure what is the front. This is the front. I want this to be the last thing that's glued down because I want the hat and the rest of the circle to cover the 2 lines that might poke up. All right, so we're going to start putting it on with this side. And you just want to glue it. Okay, so you're going to put right about in the middle, maybe a little bit more to the bottom, just a tiny bit, 1/8 of an inch closer to the bottom than the top. And then just go around with your glue, attaching it. And then the part that comes right in the middle will be on the top here. Okay? All right, and we'll let that dry and we'll do some stamping. Okay, so we need our basic white. Okay, for the belly, for the actual bird, I'm going to be using Daffodil Delight Ink, and I'm just going to stamp that right there. All right, and then for the belly of the bird, I'm going to use Mango Melody. And if you don't want to mess with this belly, which sometimes it gets a little bit hard to get on, oh, good. You can just use the punch to do the whole thing if you want. Okay, and then for the beak, I'm going to use pumpkin pie. And you could also cut the beak out of pumpkin pie with the Songbird Builder Punch if you want to. Okay. So far, my lighting is kind of screwed up. There you go. All right, and then we need the eyes. So that I'm going to use Tuxedo Black. I'm just going to put them a little bit above the beak. Okay, and we don't do the feet on this. So let's get our punch. First I'll punch out the bird here. I need to pull this up just a little bit. I should have done it in a strip. Why don't I just cut it in a strip? A bit easier. Okay. Okay, and there's our bird. Alrighty, then I just have to do his wing. And the wing I'm also going to use Daffodil Delight. And you can do all of this, as I said. Every piece you can cut out with the Songbird Builder Punch. You don't have to use ink and stamp it out, except for the eyes. There's not one for the eyes. All right, and then I'm just going to cut the little wing out. Okay, see, that's the mouth right there, and this is the belly. Okay, did you see that? The mouth is right here, the belly's here, and the wing. Okay, alrighty. Now we need our circle that is 2 1/8 This one is from the Stylish Shapes dies. And in the bottom of the middle, right on the middle bottom, we're going to stamp the little feet with Tuxedo Black. Had something on me. Well, right in the middle. Okay, just like that. All right, and then we also need to do with the Best Witches stamp set. We only need this top part of the hat. All right, we don't need her face or anything, but I'm just going to cut it out. Yeah, we're good. Okay. And then I'm just going to fussy cut the hat off of this witch's face. Okay, and that's the hat. So I'm going to color the hat with some Stampin Blends, not too many, just 4. And I'm going to do with light basic black. I'm going to do the brim of the hat here. And the top part of the hat. Okay, and then for inside the brim here, I'm going to use dark smoky slate. Okay, I'm going to do the buckle in dark Daffodil Delight. And the hat band in dark pumpkin pie. Okay. And that's the hat. All right, now I'm going to get my silicone mat. And I'm going to put the hat kind of tilted, just so that the bird's head comes right into the edges of the hat. Just like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue right here. And then I'm just going to put the wing next to the belly. Then I'm going to bring in our circle, gorgeous grape circle, and I'm going to put my birdie right onto the legs. Alrighty, then we're going to bring the front of our box, and I'm going to put dimensionals and mini dimensionals on the back. So I'm going to put a mini dimensional on this side of the hat over here, just to attach it a little bit, and a mini dimensional attaching this side of the hat over here. This is one side of the brim. This side of the brim, it's so small that it's kind of on its own out over here. All right, so those are the minis, and then I'm just going to put 3 dimensionals on the circle. Okay, and then I'm just going to make sure that the feet go straight. I'm going to put it right in the middle, and this way the hat and the bottom of the circle will cover the seam in the Gingham Cottage DSP. Oops. All right, just put that all down. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so now what we want to do is stamp our sentiment, which is also from the Best Witches stamp set, Tuxedo Black Ink, and Daffodil Delight piece of scrap. And I'm just going to cut this by hand. I'm going to cut close to it on all 4 sides. And then I'm going to cut the 2 words apart. Best Witches it says. Alright, and now I'm going to get my mini dimensionals again. And for the best, I'm going to put one on the left-hand side. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue over here. Just a little dab. And I'm going to have this next to the circle and on top of the circle here on the left. Okay. And then the witches can all be 2 mini dimensionals. So if you have these 2 stamp sets, you can do a new project using both of them. If not, you can try to use the Witch Hat Builder Punch. I just thought it was a little too big. And then I just put the witches down and to the right a little bit. Okay, now we're going to make a small bow out of the black and white gingham ribbon. Okay, and we're going to put it up over on the top right. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use 2 glue dots on each side of the one on each side of the knot. And then I'm just going to put a little tiny dab of glue on top of the knot there. That helps it stay on really good. And then I'm just going to put it diagonal right up there, and then just fluff up your bow pieces there. And for the final touch, I'm going to use some of my Glossy Dots Assortment. And I'm going to use the other side, the spatula side of my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to put a small, I think actually this is a medium one, right here. And a big one right there. Just got it stuck to the, these are really, really sticky. They really hang on well. Okay, and then another one down here on the lower right. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, my email is below. The link to purchase Stampin' Up! Items from me is below also. The link to join. If you'd like to join my team, you get 20% discount for the time you're a demonstrator, and you can decide to continue, or you can just let it expire if you want to. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and I will see you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye.